Hey y'all, Bloodwing here, back to bring some grumpiness to the internet. And welcome to Redneck Radio, the podcast where you get an extra healthy side helping of I'm going to have a long talk with that boy one of these days.
He's talking about me.
And as you can hear with me as always is Irate Bear. Say hello, Bear.
Hello, I hope everybody is well on this glorious, very rainy, windy Saturday.
Absolutely. Although it's not rainy and windy here for a change, has been for days. It actually looks very nice outside. Haven't stepped a foot out there to see if it is nice, but it looks nice.
You know, the irony of starting a live stream with you, old man, when there's an advert that's playing for me right now of a like a hair pepper thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Hey Jen, and before I we get started with the stream proper, please like and share the stream. Helps me out a lot. If you want to, and you can, please don't give me money you don't have. I don't want you to do that. But if you can and you want to support me even further, there you can do super chats. There are also links to my Streamlabs and my Patreon in the description. So yeah, there we go.
There you go, guys. There you go, guys. Support the stream.
That's right.
Support your favorite redneck.
Mm-hmm. I'm probably the only redneck most of these people know.
More than likely, yeah. Is there no rednecks in there?
Huh?
Is there no rednecks in there?
Oh, there are a few in the there's a few. There's a few. But I'm glad to see that. We hadn't mentioned it, but get your bets in on when the old man goes to the bathroom. But I'll have you know, I went just before the stream started.
That's why I said 69 minutes. I got the intel. I got the intel. So, how's you, man? How are you?
Oh, gosh, I was so tired after the week I've had, and I've told everybody all about it, but I was so wore out. I fell asleep last night at 9:30 at night and then was awake at 4 a.m.
Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Yeah, I knew better, but I just couldn't make it. I was sitting here trying to play Ark and I was falling asleep in my chair. Like, that's not good. No, go to bed.
Yeah, I know the feels, man. If I try to go to bed like before 11, and I try not to, but if I do, I end up and I manage to fall asleep. I kind of wake up at like 4 a.m.
Yeah.
Been a while though, actually. I've actually been sleeping through a lot recently.
Yeah.
So
Actually had this conversation with my doctor the other day when my GP, my regular doctor, talking about this sleep. I only average 6 to 7 hours sleep. 7 hours is a good night for me, but I'll nap during the day. And that's when he said he wanted to. They're pretty sure I have sleep apnea, so at some point they want to do a sleep study. He listed off a bunch of stuff they wanted to get going, a prostate exam and yada yada, all this stuff. And he says, but we'll worry about that after your surgery. You got enough on your plate now. Well, thank you very much, Doc. I think so too.
yeah, I think you do too. Yeah. Are you gonna go into detail about that?
Yeah, there is an update for those of you that don't have Twitter. I know a lot of you don't, and the last couple of days, I sure don't blame you.
Yeah. It's been a lot of fun, Twitter, the last couple of days.
Yes, it has. He says snarkily. Yeah, there has been an update. The surgery has been scheduled. I will enter the hospital bright and early at 6 a.m. on Monday, the 25th. I'll probably have a 3-day stay, maybe 2, but they say count on 3. So that means that Tuesday, the 26th, there will be no live stream. I'm going to be in the hospital. Also means I'll probably go dark for a few days because I don't have Twitter on my phone and I'm not about to. And we'll see how I feel come the Thursday after to continue with I want to get back to the live streams as soon as possible, but I don't know how I'm going to feel Doctor tells me I'm going to have to take it very easy for like 10 days. So,
Yeah. At least it doesn't happen on your birthday, mate.
that's what I told her. And it got a pretty big laugh. I said, well, I'm glad you said that week because I didn't want to be in there on my birthday. She says, well, I don't blame you for that. Are you going to party hard? I said, well, I'm not really the hard partying type. I just look forward to birthday wishes for my grandkids. That's what makes my day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you and me did a birthday stream last year, didn't we?
We did. Actually, you had one specially for me on my birthday because I remember you were shilling my Streamlabs on it. Done pretty well on that day. Had a pretty good birthday.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be doing the same thing again.
Yeah, this year we're going to combine them though on your birthday, and we'll just make it both of ours.
Yeah, we'll have a couple of guesty poos on and have a bit of a shit post for a couple of hours, and then that'll be it.
Right, and for your information, chat, that will be next Thursday is Bear's birthday. Mine is Friday, but we're going to have a birthday stream on Thursday. We might even go extra long. We'll see how it goes and how we feel. RJ Vansman, can I sing happy birthday to you? You can do whatever you like. Because, I can't hear you over the internet.
And that's the way that he likes it.
But yeah, it's all set in stone now. The stress tests look good. My ticker's all good and ready to go. So
good. I'm glad, and hopefully that's a success.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. I'm still not looking forward to being put to sleep, and that honestly scares me. I've never been put to sleep before. Not liking the idea of it. My GP, I told him that, and he says, "Well, that just means you're human."
It's funny because I know that I've been put to sleep before, but I can't remember it because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
But I was a wee burn.
I've had a couple of surgeries, but I was awake for them. So.
Yeah, I was like 4 years old. I had a couple of surgeries when I was a kid, and I can't remember them.
Yeah,
I remember being in hospital and being a kid on the child's ward, but and being given sticker books.
Yeah,
I don't remember being knocked out.
Oh, I spent a good deal of time in the hospital when I was 3 years old. I had bronchial pneumonia.
Oh wow!
And I remember very, very little of it. I remember I had a black nurse who was very fat.
Big mama.
Yeah, she was very fat. I think I remember that. I may just think I remember it because everybody's told me about it,
Yeah.
But yeah, the only thing for sure I remember for that time is my grandmother gave me a TV set. It was an old black and white in those days, of course, but yeah. That's I don't remember how long I stayed, but I was a pretty sick little boy back then.
That's another thing that you and me have in common, mate. Very ill as children. It was quite. They thought I had meningitis at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was throwing up stomach bile and all sorts. And
been there, done that. That's rough. I hate that.
Painful.
Yeah, you just swear the next thing you're going to see come up is your shoes.
I thought I was going to bloody start blowing fire out of my mouth. It was that bloody hot and just burning sensation. It was awful. But no, it wasn't. I just had like a horrible virus at the time. But yeah, I spent quite a lot of time in hospital as a kid.
Ranting Ramsey says, I was put to sleep once for wisdom tooth extraction surgery, and the last thing I remember from that is saying my arm feels cold, and then I woke up in an armchair. Well, they wanted to put me to sleep when they pulled my teeth, and I said, no, keep me awake. And they said, no, we can't do that. I said, oh, yes, you can. And they did.
It's funny. I remember like the last time I kind of went to the dentist, they Well, actually, no, it wasn't the last time, but it was years and years and years back now. They wanted to tear a tooth out because they were preparing me to have braces, and they put that the anesthetic in the gum via injection.
Right.
Oh God. Oh no. I don't want to go through that again. I mean, the needle was massive. It was ridiculous. So they just shove it in your gum, and it doesn't hurt as such. It just kind of feels like somebody's pushing really, really hard on your gums. And then it gets in there with his friggin' pliers and rips out your tooth, and you can hear it, but you can't really feel it, but you can hear it in your head.
Oh, I heard every noise of them pulling my teeth.
You're like, ah, it's
And
horrible.
the front 7 had to be cut out because I had teeth that were broke off at the gum line.
Mm.
Yeah, it was not a pleasant experience, but I didn't want to go to sleep, and I was adamant about it. No. RJ Bama says, "Tell me a funny redneck joke, please." Well, you've probably heard this one, but do you know how you tell a rich redneck from a poor redneck?
Idea.
A rich redneck has 2 cars up on blocks in the yard. There you go.
Ranting Ramsey has also shared my experience. I've had it a couple of times. My last one, I think, was when I was still in the Navy, and it was with a Canadian naval officer who was my dentist, and there was a chaplain sat next to him, and I was like, "Why is there a chaplain in the room with you? You're going to execute me?"
To give you last rites.
But it was for a filling, and the anesthetic only worked on the top half of the mouth. And I just sat there and I persevered. And I was like, "Oh, sir, by the way, the anesthetic didn't work, just for future reference." He's like, "Well, why don't you tell me?" I was like, "Well, you already started, and I'm not having another injection. Those things are ridiculous, man."
I had that once, had an abscessed tooth, and if you've ever had one, you know that anesthetic will not work on those.
Mm.
And they tried, and I still felt every bit of it, but I was in such pain that I'm like, just do it. Get it done.
Come on, dentist. We're gonna work our way through this together.
Yeah. Just get it out of there. Of course, I've always my grandfather and my brother-in-law my grandfather always pulled his own teeth, and I'm like, now that's a man right there. That's a man.
I remember pulling out my baby teeth.
Oh no, he'd go get a pair of pliers and pull her.
Oh no, I used to do it the slow way and wobble them until they fell out.
I was like, oh my gosh, that's a real man right there, because I couldn't do that.
Oh, no, baby, no. But I think we're about 15 minutes into Redneck Radio now, and I think we have to address the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah, that's exactly how I was thinking about it too. The elephant in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And this is why I said Twitter's been such a mess in the last couple of days. If you've got Twitter, you know what I'm talking about. If you don't have it, don't look. Oh, God. Ever since the New Zealand tragedy, and it is a tragedy, folks, let me be clear. It is an absolute tragedy that 49 people were killed and 50 people injured there by a crazy gunman.
Mm-hmm.
But everybody and their brother, and this is on both sides of the aisle, left and right, have used it to further their agenda. Imagine my shock.
Yeah, there's been a lot of gotcha moments on Twitter, and I mean a lot of gotcha moments. This is very typical of any kind of mass shooting, really, though, isn't it? Or any kind of terrorist attack. That there's always a drive for your own political position. I get that. People are going to do it. People want to place the blame. But placing the blame on e-celebs like freaking PewDiePie is stupid.
It is. It is. And we'll get to that. And that's going to be my main point. But, you know, I don't want to spend the whole stream on it, but, you know, we've got to address it because it is the elephant in the room right now.
Mm-hmm.
The bodies weren't even cold yet before you had other e-celebrities and politicians using it to push their anti-gun agenda, and
Very typical, though.
I'm like, oh my gosh, seriously, people. But before we even knew what was happening, yeah, people were jumping on it. Let's blame Pewds. Let's blame Candace. Let's blame Trump.
Yeah.
And it's now gone so far that they've jumped across the aisle and we're blaming, what is her first name? Clinton's daughter.
Oh, yeah, Chelsea Clinton.
Chelsea Clinton. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is stupid. Let me be perfectly clear and tell you how Bloodwing feels about it. There is nobody to blame here but the shooter. Insane, crazy people do insane, crazy things for their own insane, crazy reasons, and it's only their fault. And insanity does not know political bounds, folks. It does not know political bounds. It doesn't matter what he spouted. This reminds me very much of Charles Manson. You know, so most of you probably know this. It's well known by this point, but do you know why Manson killed those people? He hoped to start a race war. Do you know what encouraged him to do it that way? The Beatles. The White Album by the Beatles, and in particular a song called Helter Skelter, which, it was there wasn't social media in that day, so they could, he couldn't live stream it and yell out the Beatles names, but they did paint it in blood on the wall. Misspelled, by the way. They couldn't even spell Helter Skelter right, but folks, it just doesn't, it's no one's fault, but he is him. And if those three people they arrested along with him are involved, are just sick, twisted, insane people. And if he hadn't landed on PewDiePie and Candace and Trump, he'd have found some other reason to do it and somebody else to blame it on.
He did all that shit on purpose, man.
Yep.
Everything about that. I've not read the full manifesto from top to bottom, but I've seen a fair amount of it. There's a lot of memes in the manifesto as well. Yeah. But it's very obvious that by the way that it was written, and he had his own agenda, and it's kind of working. He's getting exactly what he wanted. He's caused more division. He's got people attacking frigging PewDiePie. I mean, I will give credit where it's due. There are some legacy media outlets and a couple of like online outlets that are standing up for PewDiePie, that are reporting it as it is, because PewDiePie was very smart to immediately disavow, condone, say how disgusted he was, and then that that was enough for a lot of people that normally wouldn't have been tolerant towards him, which is very good in my personal opinion. But of course, there's all the same kind of blame game that you see typically going on whenever there's a like an Islamic terror attack, for example. But it's kind of turned on its head.
Yep.
And you have lefties on one side saying, "Oh, I don't care if you think we shouldn't talk about it. We're going to talk about it." And you've got the other people saying, "Well, if you don't want to talk about that, why? If you want to talk about this, then why won't you talk about the Islamic terrorism?" And it's just tit for tat.
Yeah,
and gotcha this, gotcha that. I'm just like, can we blame the shooter?
I stayed the heck out of it. Made some very vague. I kind of played a game with everybody's head on Twitter yesterday. Played a little game of can you figure out what I'm talking about, and stayed the heck away from the political left and right, because as I said, insanity knows no political bounds. There's been insane people of every walk of life and every political persuasion. And it is solely their fault. Unless PewDiePie had come out, sent this guy a message and say, okay, I want you to go kill a bunch of people in my name, which he didn't do. Had he done that, it would have been Pewds' fault. But
You know, blaming it on PewDiePie is quite a smart move when you think about it. Because
yeah,
because the media had themselves have been constantly attacking PewDiePie for like the last year,
yeah,
maybe probably a bit longer. And whenever they do that kind of thing, censorship, extra censorship tends to follow,
yeah,
and that censorship causes more division,
yeah.
more
And folks,
arguing. You
I
know,
don't even like PewDiePie. I don't. I never have. I don't enjoy his content. I got nothing against him, but I don't like it. But blaming him is one of the stupidest things. And as you said, there was a manifesto, and at first they only released part of it, and they were only reading part of it. You know, the part where he was talking about Trump and this, that, and the other. If you read further, it goes on to say that he's just going to do this in hopes of starting a race war in the United States.
by getting liberals to attack the Second Amendment.
Yeah. And boy, did he know what he was doing, I guess, because they sure did. And it was the typical crew that you expect it from.
Yeah.
You know. For the most part, it was the typical people that you expect it from. But no, folks, look, I'm not even going to name this guy, because when people do things like that, that's what they want. They want notoriety. They want infamy. They want you to know their name.
Yeah.
And I'm just not going to. It's out there if you want it. But you know, he sure knew what he was doing to get him stirred up, because it happened. It started happening immediately. Like I said, the bodies weren't even cold. Yes, perfectly faded delusions. Exactly. The brain trust. But
yeah, Viper. Yeah, the guy knew. There's a reason why there was a lot of what he said in the manifesto. You know, he spoke about America. He spoke about Europe, and he spoke about a lot of different things. And he knew that by placing the blame on people like PewDiePie, talking about Trump, and making out as if he was radicalized by the current climate, he knew that there would be a further conversation about the Second Amendment in America.
right.
And that's exactly what seems to be happening right now.
But having said all that, here's what I think will happen. Pews will be okay. He'll be fine. He'll survive.
Yeah, of course he will.
He'll get through it. This will eventually blow over, and they'll move on to the next thing. Only to bring it up when it's suitable, like they do Charlottesville.
PewDiePie is such a class act, isn't he?
He is. I've got to respect him for how he's handled this.
Yeah, I get that his content isn't for everybody, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
But there's only one of his things that he does every week that I enjoy. That's the Pew News segment that he does. I really enjoy it when he talks about things that are a little bit more mature. But like he made that tweet, he immediately condemned it, said that he was disgusted. That was absolutely the right thing to do, and he left it at that. And then he went to the community tab on YouTube, and he said, right, in solidarity, I'm not uploading a video today to the channel. Here's a charity where you can donate to help the people, the victims.
Exactly.
And then that's it.
Yeah. Viper Sword. You haven't eaten in 2 days? Why? I know it'll take a while for that to get to her, and I'll look to see the answer. If it's for dieting, that gives your body the wrong message, and it will it will work against you to starve yourself. I know this from talking to a nutritionist.
Yeah, and this guy, he wanted to antagonize the left wing, because the left wing would go on to attack the right, like all of the right wing, because you know how they are, because they label everybody as friggin' far right.
Yeah.
And then the right obviously would go fight back, and rightly so as well. But yeah, more division.
Yep.
Much more division, more divisiveness, more chaos.
Viper Sword says she didn't get a chance to eat yesterday, and I've slept all day today. Okay, fair enough, but get you something to eat. You got to eat, girl. But yeah, that's it was crazy. I mean, it's stupid, and they're crazy. And I hope I don't know how New Zealand laws are. I don't claim to know, but I hope that they get the maximum allowable by New Zealand law. You know,
Yeah.
it's I'm not a fan of Muslims, but these people were peaceful people worshiping in their house of worship, and he shot all these peaceful, unarmed people. I have my problems with that religion, but that doesn't mean that I think that all of them are bad. I have a problem with the religion, not necessarily the people, if you feel me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a terrible, terrible tragedy. I will say that. I feel so sorry for the victims and their families, but it is not PewDiePie's fault. It is not Donald Trump's fault. It's not Candace Owens' fault. And I can't believe you're having me defend a Clinton, but it's not Chelsea Clinton's fault either.
Exactly. It's stupid. It's stupid. Sit down. Calm down. Wait.
Yeah, James, I read that today that they're talking about banning assault weapons, and the source that I seen it from was a political source, and they're saying, "Take note, America." Yeah,
that is true, Iron Paul. That is true, and that kind of thing happens quite a lot in the Middle Eastern world and parts of Africa as well. And of course, they generally isn't covered as well as this.
Yeah. You all, you realize that New Zealand is smaller than a lot of our states here in America. I've had this conversation before. You and I have had this conversation before. If, and that's a huge if they were ever to pass anti-law, it would be against the law, be against the Constitution, anti-gun laws. Good luck in taking everybody's guns in America. That's a lot of people. It's just
I get the feeling that's what the guy wanted.
It's just not doable. It's just not
good luck.
Viable auction. Yeah. And I can imagine most of the cops that were responsible for taking their guns would probably say, "Are you kidding me? I'm not doing that."
Yeah. Like yeah.
Shot.
There is no police wage high enough out there to get a policeman to go out and knock on someone's door in America, especially in a red state, I'd imagine, especially in your area, Bloodwing, and then demand they give over their guns.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, it's just not going to stand. Just not going to happen. Just not going to happen. But they'll continue to try as they have throughout time. Yes, James Maxwell. There's a rifle behind every blade of grass. Yeah. But anyway, that's the New Zealand situation in a nutshell. I think we've probably said about all that can be said right now.
Yeah, pretty much, man. I mean, it was so surreal for me as well because I woke up to it, and but by the time I woke up, I think I woke up at like 8, and I did my usual, went to the toilet, had a cigarette, looked at Twitter, and it's just everybody's arguing. I'm like,
Yeah, I was the same way. I didn't have to take my grandkids to school yesterday, so I slept in a whole half hour. And then my body says, "Nope, you're getting up." And I made my coffee, and I turned on Twitter, and I'm like, "What? What happened in New Zealand? What are they talking about?"
Yeah, I know. I was just like, and then the video came up, and at first, like I didn't actually have the sound playing or anything like that, and I thought that somebody had tried to make their own version of Hardcore Henry. Because there have been channels on YouTube before Hardcore Henry came out on Netflix that did things that look like that, their own action-packed, very well edited kind of thing where a guy wakes up in an office and he gets attacked by like 100 guys in suits periodically as he goes from floor to floor. I thought it was something like that at first.
Yeah.
Like a first-person camera kind of thing. And then I realized he actually was killing people. And I was like, damn.
Yeah, I haven't seen any video. I don't want to see any video. I don't have any need to see it.
You don't need to see it, no.
Yes, Void Horizon. I'm aware of that story, and in fact, we're going to cover it before the stream's over. That's one of the stories I have earmarked for us to talk about.
I wonder what the chat thinks about all this kind of stuff.
Well, I've been seeing some interaction. I don't see anything disagreeing with us at all. Randy Ramsey says he lost his job yesterday because I muttered to myself, "It is lucky I don't own an RA-15." Oh man, I'm sorry.
Oh shit, man.
That's a tough break, dude. I'm sorry about that.
Can you not take them to tribunal over that?
I could see how they would play it. They would play it off as being a threat, as they were threatening, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I get it, Ramsey, that you weren't. It was just an offhand comment, but
what other news did you want to go through today, mate?
Well, let me address chat here for just a second. Lori Loughlin was fired from her role as chat. What should happen to her? Yeah, I heard that she wasn't going to be on the last season of Fuller House, and I expected that, which is fallout from the whole college scandal thing, you know. She was one of those that had paid her child's way into college.
I see.
But yeah. So we can see what chat says about that while I find my first story. This page always updates, and then it makes it hard for me to find the one I wanted to read first. Beto O'Rourke apologizes. Yeah.
We'll get there.
Yeah. Donald Trump Jr. comes to Chelsea Clinton's defense after NYU video.
Oh, wow.
I think the title there is probably enough to give you the sense, but good for him. Good for him. Yeah, here was the first one. You know, there's not a week that goes by that we can't, we have to at least have one story of our favorite mule-toothed politician. Ocasio-Cortez's unfavorable rating skyrockets, with most people viewing her negatively, says poll. U.S. Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's unfavorable rating has spiked after just months in Congress, with most of the public viewing her negatively rather than favorably, a new poll shows. The New York Democrat shot to fame amid the party's lurch to the left and embracement of socialist policies such as the Green New Deal. Yet the more people learned about the 29-year-old freshman congressman, the more they were turned off by her. A Gallup poll released Friday shows that Ocasio-Cortez's unfavorable rating has risen by 15 points since last September, when she had yet to win the general election, increasing from 26 points to 41% of the American adults polled. She has also managed to increase her favorability rating, but only by 7 points. About 31% of surveyed people viewed her favorably, compared to 24% in September. Since September, Ocasio-Cortez became more widely recognized across the country, with half of the respondents saying they have never heard of her before. Now, only a fifth of surveyed people say they aren't familiar with the self-described democratic socialist. And I'll stop there for a second to make a point. And I've always said that most people, the ones we call normies, aren't as plugged in as most of us. They're not as aware of everything that's going on, and blissfully so. You know, people in middle America, they don't give two hoots about it.
They ain't got time for it.
That's right. They're too busy trying to make a living and pay the bills. The poll notes that Ocasio-Cortez's name recognition is growing compared to that of other politicians at the same point in their careers in Congress. More surveyed people know the New York Democrat than they know Senators Elizabeth Warren, Marco Rubio, or Ted Cruz as freshmen. Overall, the results suggest that Ocasio-Cortez may be a polarizing figure. You think? Because every time she opens her mouth, something stupid comes out.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, she's the gift that keeps on giving. The left accuse us of making stuff up about her and trying to trump up, and stuff. I see it on Twitter all the time, and I have a few left-leaning people that follow me, that are vocal about it, and we don't have to make stuff up, guys. Every time she opens her mouth, she gives us new ammo to say, "You stupid."
It's funny because the Democrats don't even like her either, do they?
No, they don't. They really don't. And the more
she's really getting their backs up.
Yeah, the more time goes on, the more of them she butts heads with.
It's not a good move.
No. Most of her support is galvanized around younger, more diverse Democrat-leaning groups, while most of her opposition is composed of Republicans and more conservative Democrat-leaning groups. Nearly 3/4 of Republican respondents say they view her negatively, with only 5% having a positive view. Among the Democrats, 56% of respondents had a favorable view of Ocasio-Cortez, compared to only 15% of the Democrats polled who don't support her. She's also favored by adults 18 to 34, people of color, and women. Imagine my shock. Yet she's facing a favorability deficit among men, -24, whites, -24, and adults 55 or older, which is my age group, -22.
Of course, she wouldn't appeal to the older generations.
Right. Among self-described independents, she has a negative net rating of 5%. That don't sound like a lot, but when it's a negative net rating, people, of 5%, that's pretty significant. So yeah, people are starting to catch on to old mule teeth, and they're not liking what they see. Real quick, John M., thank you for the super chat. Monkey was right. This is Redneck Radio. Yay. Yes, it is. It is. And welcome.
This is Redneck Radio.
That's correct. I need that soundboard. I need to get a soundboard, one of those virtual soundboards. And
it's like $5 or something on Steam, I think.
I need that pump shotgun sound. I already have it on my computer, but I imagine your shock.
Ding, 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 ding. Redneck Radio.
That is correct. Thank you, Snubbers, for the donation. James Gunn apparently was rehired by Disney. Yeah.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I'd heard about that. And good for them. Good for them.
I guess we'll get the movie now.
Yeah. Might get a good one. You need an Al Bundy soundboard. Yeah. More to the point for me, I need a Walter. The puppet Walter. I need him as a soundboard. Welcome to Walmart. Get your crap and get out. Yeah, it's too bad OBS won't work for me, because if you could hear the sound that I get every time you guys donate or whatever, it's Scooter from the Borderlands series. And every time you guys donate, I hear, it looks like you and Blood have an extra special relationship, just like cousins taking a bath together. And speaking of, thank you, Shady Grin. Take my money. Okay, I'll take it if you're going to twist my arm. Redneck Radio, Q shotgun clack. Hey, you get off my lawn. Shotgun blast. Which reminds me, one of the songs I really, really like, this may be surprising to some of you, is Saliva. Click, click, boom. So If you're familiar with that song.
No, I'm
Click,
not.
click, boom. Yeah, OBS just doesn't want to behave right for me. I can get it to work, and it works fine on my end. I have no problem. But by the time it gets to you guys, there's a lot of lag, a lot of delays, a lot of buffering, and it's almost unwatchable for you guys. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
from time to time, I get issues with it as well. Oh, is this going to be a good one? Yeah, that one's better.
There we go. Somebody was asking earlier, when do we get to hear a bear fart?
RJ Bansma. It's because I keep farting on stream. That's better than what I've been putting out.
Yeah, well, let's make sure you don't put that out.
You know, every time I look at Twitter, there's something new about New Zealand.
Yeah, I know.
And I hate to go back to the topic, but for those who don't follow Nick Monroe, he's a great Twitter account to follow. He makes threads where he researches news stories and puts everything together step by step. He's a really, really in-depth guy. He tweeted this out 36 minutes ago regarding New Zealand, saying New Zealanders threatened with 10 years in jail if they have the shooting video. Anybody found knowingly in possession of objectionable material can receive a maximum of 10 years imprisonment, 14 years in jail if you are a dealer of the video.
Ouch.
Damn.
You know, I don't. God, as an American, I don't get that. That's just, that concept is so foreign to me. Like I said, I have no desire to see the video. I don't. But I mean, I get not wanting it out there in the public right now, being publicly shown. I can sort of kind of get behind that, because, you know, you got to think about the families of the victims too, you know?
Yeah, I know. But I'm not in favor of putting people in prison for 10 years. Just having
imprisonment and censorship, you know, yeah, no, just no.
And even longer if you're a dealer.
Yeah, I guess if you're responsible for spreading it, if you're a hub that they get it from, offering it for download or whatever, I guess.
See, like the most I would have the police do is politely ask the public to not disseminate the video. You know, that's ridiculous. Just threatening people like that over a bit of video.
Yeah,
you know, I know it's horrific, but that kind of content has existed on the internet for as long as the internet's been around. You know.
Oh, good Lord, there's worse than that.
Yeah, far worse. I've seen.
There's a website that I'm sure it's still around. I haven't looked for it for a long while because I don't want to look for it. It's called rotten.com.
Yeah, I've heard of that. Yeah.
If you've got a weak stomach, do not, let me repeat, do not go there. Because it's full of the grossest pictures that you can imagine. Surgeries
like that as well, don't they?
Yeah, surgeries and car accidents and autopsy photos, and just, oh, not good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
But, you know, there's a market for that kind of stuff. Some people are fascinated with, you know, that kind of gross junk. And, you know, teach his own, I reckon.
No, not for me. Not for me.
No. It's been years since I've even. I went there, I think, once, and I was instantly sorry that I did. It's like, yeah, nope. Okay, news. I said we were going to cover this story, and so now is probably the time. Families of Sandy Hook shooting victims can sue gunmaker Remington over 2012 attack, court says.
Why?
Because people want something to blame. And the guy that done Sandy Hook, you recall Sandy Hook, right? That's where all the grade school kids were shot.
Yeah.
um, the guy killed himself. So they can't punish him. So they want somebody to punish, I suppose. That's my only.
Surprised they haven't tried to sue Alex Jones. Well, they
Probably
probably
have.
have, mind you, yeah.
Probably have. All right. Connecticut's Supreme Court ruled Thursday that the manufacturer of the Bushmaster AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle can be sued and potentially held liable in the 2012 mass murder at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newtown, Connecticut. The groundbreaking 4-3 decision overcame a federal law backed by the National Rifle Association and designed to immunize gun makers from liability for the crimes committed with their weapons. Remington makes the Bushmaster. The suit was brought by the estates of 9 victims of Adam Lanza, who was armed with the high-powered rifle during his assault that left 28 dead, including 20 young children. The court's decision was narrow, with the liability for gun makers based on how they advertise their weapons rather than on the sale of them to third parties who then commit horrible crimes. In the ruling, the court said companies that market military-style guns to civilians as a way of killing enemies could be violating state fair trade laws. The regulation of advertising that threatens the public's health, safety, and morals has long been considered a core exercise of the state's police powers, the court says, explaining why the federal law does not apply. Neither Remington nor its lawyers in the case could be reached for comment Thursday. A spokesman for the company told the Associated Press that we have no timeline for any comments to be made on the subject. The family, go ahead, Bear.
But they're getting them on the advertising.
That's what they're saying. Yeah. The families alleged, for example, that the Bushmaster product catalog shows soldiers on patrol in jungles along with the phrase, "When you need to perform under pressure, Bushmaster delivers," and promotes the rifle to civilians as the ultimate combat weapon system. Still, the decision was a breakthrough for those impacted by the Sandy Hook shooting and for gun control advocates across the country who have found little to no success in seeking ways to hold gun makers responsible for crimes committed with their products. This is a landmark and potentially historic ruling, said Adam Winkler, a UCLA School of Law expert in gun regulation, and opens up an avenue to hold gun makers responsible despite federal immunity. It will encourage a lot more litigation against them, as well as potentially permit discovery of internal corporate documents. At a news conference Thursday, families of those killed joined their lawyer, Josh Koskoff, in praising the ruling, saying they were determined to find out through the discovery process what factors went into Remington's marketing practices. "This is nowhere where we wanted to be," said Bill Sherlock, whose wife died in the shooting. "That being said, I'll spend the rest of my life on this avenue, seeking justice. Now we can peel back the layers of Remington's advertising strategies." The firearms company had convinced a lower court that the federal law prevented the family's suit, but Connecticut's high court said that the law had exceptions and that one of them was meant for state consumer protection laws. I get the feeling that the state is really reaching at a loophole.
Yeah, it certainly sounds like it.
In the federal law to try to get this done, and I have a feeling that the litigation on this is by far over. I will almost bet you it makes it to federal court at some level.
From what you've read, the commercial sounds no different to me than a commercial for something like, I don't know, a chainsaw.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it gets the job done.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah.
It gets even sillier as the article goes on. The family's fight is not over, though. The case returns to a local court in Bridgeport, Connecticut, which must determine from the evidence whether Remington is responsible. Let me stop there for a second. we're entering the same territory here as we are in the New Zealand case.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how they advertise it. The idiot that shot the school up is at fault, not the gun manufacturer. If a screwdriver is designed to remove or tighten screws, that is its purpose. But
Yeah.
it could easily be used to stab somebody with.
Yeah.
So if somebody does, do we sue the tool company? Ay. And yeah, I get it. They're suing them over their advertising, yeah, they're reaching. It's a loophole. An appeal is likely as the shield for gun makers provided by federal law now has a crack in it that other states could seek to leverage. The National Rifle Association fought hard to get the immunity from Congress, saying it was needed to protect U.S. companies from costly and what they say as unfair litigation that blames them for the crimes of others. Exactly. The organization did not respond to a request for comment. Gun control groups were elated by the court's ruling. The decision is a victory for the principle that no industry is above the law or above accountability, said a statement from Adam Skaggs, chief counsel of the Giffords Law Center to Prevent Gun Violence.
So we're going to start suing car manufacturers every time there's some idiot gets behind the wheel drunk, or
right,
or somebody who goes on a stabbing rampage. Are we going to hold the knife company? It might not even be a friggin' machete. It might just be, a normal butcher's knife. From some kitchen utensils company. Are we going to sue them as well?
Yeah. The Connecticut court said the suit, which seeks unspecified damages for each death, could go forward under the state's Unfair Trade Practices Act, a statute aimed at harmful marketing. In this case, marketing not of the weapon, but rather its use as a potential tool for offensive military-style combat by civilians, which is illegal. And from what they wrote of the commercial, that's not what they're promoting. Look, if you want to promote a weapon, I can think of very little better way than to get experts to promote it. And I'd say the military are the experts.
Yeah. They're the ones who handle them every day.
Yeah. That does not mean that the gun that you can buy as a civilian is anywhere close to the gun they have as the military, because they're not. They're completely different. 20 first-grade children and 6 adults were killed and 2 others were wounded in the attack on December 14th, 2012. Lanza, who took his own life after the assault, shot and killed his mother, Nancy Lanza, in her home before targeting the school. The Bushmaster that Lanza used had been sold to his mother, according to court documents, and shared with Adam, who was 20 at the time of the killings. The number of lives lost in those 264 seconds was made possible by the shooter's weapon of choice, the plaintiff said in their lawsuit. Oh, yes, and if that had not been available to him, which was illegally in his possession, might I remind you, because it was licensed to his mother.
Yeah, it's usually the case, isn't it, with these kind of things?
Had he not had access to that weapon, he likely would have found something else. I could have caused just as much havoc, maybe more, with a pump shotgun.
Yeah, but what did the Sandy Hook shooter use?
He used the Bushmaster and he used some pistols. I don't recall where offhand what he had on him, but he had more than one weapon on him.
Yeah,
all gotten from his mother, as I recall. I might be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure. Plaintiffs seek nothing more, nothing less than accountability for Bushmaster's choice to continue profiting from selling and marketing the weapon for civilian use, the suit said. It is a civilian weapon. The Bushmaster is people. You cannot purchase, without jumping through a whole lot of red tape, a military weapon. You can't. You can't just walk into your gun store and say, I want a military weapon. You can't do that. But they sure make it sound like you can. Among the allegations in the lawsuit was that the gun manufacturers and dealers, knowingly marketed the weapons used to carry out deadly missions against perceived enemies, as the court said. Such use of the Bushmaster or any weapon would be illegal, it added, and Connecticut law does not permit advertisements that promote or encourage violent criminal behavior. The federal law, called the Protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, does not immunize firearm makers from liability for crimes committed by people using their weapons, the court agreed. But it said, we also conclude that Congress has not clearly manifested an intent to extinguish the traditional authority of our legislature and our courts to protect the people of Connecticut from the pernicious practices alleged in the present case. And that's just a lot of lawyers speak for saying they left us a loophole and we're taking it. The dissenting justices said the majority in this national question of first impression was misreading the federal shield law. And that's the end of that. Another article that I read on it claimed that the Remington was targeting specifically people with mental instability. What? I'm like, how? Where's your proof?
Do you have schizophrenia? Do you have an overwhelming desire to shoot up a school? Well, we've got the rifle for you.
Absolutely. Oh my gosh. Excuse me. I'm going to have to take a drink here because I'm getting a bit of a throat tickle. See what chat's saying about that, because a reminder, while I'm reading articles, I cannot see what you say. I only have one screen.
I have two.
Well, I'm just a poor old redneck.
And that's why you should donate to Bloodwing now.
That's right.
Do you like rednecks? Do you like guns? Then drop a like on Redneck Radio today. Redneck Radio supports the Second Amendment through and through. Stop calling me posh Scotsman. Just because you fucking sound rough as fuck.
Wow, there was a lot being said about it. I didn't get to see most of it because it's still going by fast as heck. That's what my chat does when I tab over to another tab. And when I come back, it seemingly sticks where I left off and then scrolls real fast to catch up.
Okay.
But yeah, seems a lot of people are taking it the same way that I am. John Connor says he didn't take the Bushmaster into the school. Yeah, it's been long enough ago. I don't remember the exact details as they were, but
Peanut Scotsman, you don't have a manly voice. You sound like you ate 40 cigs with the packaging on. If you sound like you're 58, mate, and you have throat cancer.
Hey, I'm 58.
Yeah, well, there you go.
What are you trying to say, Barry?
He sounds worse than you, old man.
Yeah, well, yeah. I have a particular gravel to my voice where you can tell I smoked a lot of cowboy killers in my day, which, you know, are Marlboros for those of you that don't get the reference. Marlboro Reds. There was a couple of stories from here locally that I wanted to read. Now, you know, I've had a pretty rough week. You know, it's pretty tiring. A lot of doctor's visits and tests and so forth. And you've had some things going on with you. You know, we all have those times where we think we've really had a rough time. But for those times that you really think that you've had a rough way to go, here's the story for you. If it will unlock, and dadgummit, it just closed out. Doggone it. There we go. All right, let's reload it again. I'm just having a time here. A man left his car after an accident on Interstate 465. He was fatally struck by another vehicle. That's a bad day, folks.
That is a really bad day.
That's so many ads are popping up on this. It's scrolling slowly. So, a man was struck and killed on northbound I-465 near the I-70 interchange on the east side. And oh my gosh, I can believe it. That is an awful area. I-465 and I-70 on the east side. My wife just asked me where. That is a terrible area that I used to have to drive daily because I worked in that area. And it's not an area I go into willingly. But on the east side, after he exited his vehicle after another crash Friday morning, Indiana State Police say just before 6 a.m., emergency crews responding to reports of a person struck found the body of a man on the northbound side of the highway. The man was pronounced dead at the scene. Responders found a passenger car with damage on the front end. The driver of the passenger car was transported to the hospital with minor injuries, according to police. Prior to the fatal crash, police said another crash occurred involving a different passenger car and a semi. The vehicles were pulled to the side of the road, but the car's driver had left his vehicle and walked across the left 2 lanes of I-465 for unknown reasons, police said. My gosh, what are you doing? I know none of you here, unless you're from Indianapolis, know what it looks like there. But there's absolutely no way you're going to get me to walk across those lanes for any reason. It's, oh my gosh. First of all, people are driving 15, 20 miles over the speed limit, at least. It's 4 lanes on each side, and it's madness.
It's a big road.
It is very madness. For unknown reasons, police said he was struck by a silver 2018 Chevrolet. The driver of the Chevrolet was not intoxicated, police say. The left 2 lanes of northbound I-465 near I-70 were closed for approximately 3 hours after the crash, police say. The right 2 lanes of northbound I-465 near US 40, just south of the fatal crash, were also closed for about 45 minutes, according to NDOT. And that's our local highway authority. Yeah, so if you think you had a bad day, I think this guy's day was probably worse.
Exactly, yeah. And they're all talking about my giggles in the chat there, and Viper is absolutely correct. Gabriel Iglesias, otherwise known as Fluffy, his high-pitched laugh, like I laugh high-pitched, but I cannot reach that, like that octave, you know, that decibel.
Yeah. So I'm nearly 60. Yeah, I'm aware of that. Thank you for reminding me, though. I will be 59 on Friday.
The wife is in the chat.
Hey, Vanilla. How's it going?
I don't have the tobacco in here, but I've been experiencing a couple of moments, if you will, in my chest over the last couple of days. So I'm trying to cut back a little bit.
I got you. I've already thought about what am I going to do for those 3 days in the hospital, because, you know, I'm not going to be allowed to smoke.
No, you won't. No.
Although I am old enough to remember when you were allowed to smoke in a hospital. In fact, they had cigarette vending machines in the hallways. In the hospital. Yeah. And there was one more local story that I wanted to read, and let me see. Police this is just the headline. Police conduct extra patrols around Indianapolis mosques after New Zealand attack. Yeah, I expected that. While I'm looking for that, did you have anything Bear?
Other than the New Zealand stuff, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, I could go through the Brexit stuff if you'd like, but I'm not sure if you want to go through that.
Oh well, news in the UK is news as well. We have an international audience, so
An international audience.
that's correct.
Well, yeah, I suppose so. The UK Parliament held a couple of votes, if you will. They voted on whether we would have a hard Brexit or not, and they voted against it. Doesn't matter because it's not legally binding. And if the EU continues to be as pig-headed as they've been, and May can't present a deal that everybody likes, then we're still going to end up with a hard Brexit. They spent the next day trying to vote on whether we should extend the Article 50 period, which is the period of time where you negotiate and try to leave the European Union. And again, they voted for it, but it's not legally binding because the EU has to give their go-ahead, and they're probably not going to give a go-ahead. On an extension, and if they do, they'll probably ask for a second referendum to happen. If that happens, I think we'll lose. So it's been another pointless week in terms of Brexit.
On the Brexit front.
Yes.
Reason Vision brings up a good point. We are an international pair of hosts. What other podcast, what other live stream, folks, are you going to tune into where one of the hosts is from the UK and the other one is an American redneck? Now, can you ask for an odder pair of hosts? Think about it.
Well, as different as we are, we have a very, very lot in common as well. So,
yeah. Okay, I did find and I think you're gonna like this one. Another local story from Indiana. Indiana homeowner finds body under 900-pound garage safe.
Oh yeah, I heard about this. Yeah.
Waiting for it to load. This is in Marion, Indiana. The Marion Police Department and the Grant County coroner are investigating after a man reported finding a body lying underneath an antique floor safe while cleaning his garage at his home in the 600 block of West 3rd Street. According to a release from the police department, homeowner George Hollingsworth said on March 12th, he suspected someone had broken into his garage and that his garage door frame had been damaged. Hollingsworth told police he was going to start cleaning his garage the next day because it was packed with clutter to see if anything had been stolen, police said. While cleaning on March 13th, police said Hollingsworth discovered his 900-plus pound floor safe that was suspended by a floor jack. Why was it jacked up on a jack? I don't know. Article doesn't say. Suspended by a floor jack was knocked over. The man continued to explore, and that's when he found the body, now identified as 28-year-old Jeremiah A. Disney of Marion, according to police. The Marion Fire Department was called to the scene to remove the body, police said, adding that an autopsy has since been completed and the results being investigated earlier. Let me help you out here and save you time with the autopsy. He was crushed to death.
No, he drowned.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah, well, I guess that's one way to deter burglars.
Yeah.
Drop a 900-pound safe on them.
It's like a really lethal Home Alone trap.
Right. Can you imagine this guy's shock? He's in cleaning his garage, and here's an old bicycle over there and a couple of car parts over there and some tools that he didn't put away over here. And oh, crap, there's a smashed body. And yes, Spansman said his last name was Disney. Yeah.
That's mad.
I bet he won't be doing that again.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Dax says it's an Acme safe. Nice Roadrunner reference there. You'd think the body would have stunk. I get the feeling that it had happened in very, very, very recently.
Yeah.
He discovered his garage looked like it had been broken into on the 12th. He cleaned it up on the 13th. So it probably didn't have a chance to stink too much. Although blood does have a very distinct smell to it.
Body was in there for what, probably 3 days, you said? Would you reckon?
Maybe at most.
Yeah.
At most.
It's silly sausage. Like, just don't break into people's houses, people. Because
exactly.
That safe will get you.
I'll drop a 300 or 900-pound safe on you.
That's a bad way to go.
You have to wonder what was going on that occurred. First of all, I can't for the life of me figure out why he would have that safe suspended on a floor jack anyway. I don't understand, but
do you think he was like toothpaste?
I don't know.
Yeah, he's
900 pounds. That's a lot of weight to be coming down on you. Yeah, that's what I'm guessing, Maniac Man 2030, that the kid probably thought that he could break into the safe. He was probably checking it to see if it was unlocked and open, and boom.
Splat.
Yeah.
Do you think it killed him instantly?
Oh, I would hope so.
That would be a bad way to go, like slowly.
Yeah, I would hope so, because it would be pretty rough. First of all, you're going to suffocate because you can't breathe. You know, and the pain would have to have been immense.
Yeah.
But so I would hope so, but I don't know. Having said that, it is that time. So if anybody guessed an hour and 12 minutes, you're the winner. I'll be right back.
I was closest. I said 69. I win. Bear wins. What's going on, chat? I hope you're all well. I hope you're all having a lovely weekend. I'm not feeling particularly well, but I'll get through it. I'll get through it as I always do. Demon Lord. My favorite shitbag is in the chat. Atomic Squid. Maybe he brought the floor jack and did a vending machine flop onto it. Maybe. Seamus Darby, with gas and oil in a garage, smelling blood might not smell. Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. With gas and oil being quite very pungent. Nah, faithless. No, I win. Very good. I do not live in New Zealand. Well, good. Isn't there like more sheep than there are people in New Zealand, right? Pumpkin Trucker, what's going on, man? I hope you're well. Hope you're having a nice weekend, mate. Fuck you, Irate, and much love, you mean? You fucking spastic. Mr. Dax, I thought I was your favorite shitbag. Nah, I don't really consider you to be a shitbag. I mean, there's Demon Lord, and then, of course, I would probably say that at the top of my shitbag list is probably, what's his fucking name? I've not seen him in a while now. Edgy Boy with the super chats. Fuck, I can't remember his name now. It escapes me. Shit bags are funny. Sometimes. Bullshit, I bet I had 70 minutes rigged. No. Well, just me shilling out the video to people who want to see it. Okay, well, yeah, because that's why you told me, yeah. Okay. Be careful. Yeah, Campbell, that's the one. Yeah, he's a top edgy boy. Surprised I've not seen him yet. He likes to turn up to drop some edgy boy super chats. No muck like how much I loathe you. Fuck you, Demon Lord. I hope a safe falls on you. And not a 900-pound one, like one that's like 400 pounds. Don't kill you, but it's enough that you can't move. And you
are we getting violent, Bear?
We're getting violent. I'm advocating for violence. I'm advocating for the dropping of safes on your audience.
YouTube, if you're listening, the opinions of the guests of this show are not necessarily the opinions of the channel holder. Thank you.
Void Horizon, technically speaking, we've had Bloodwing on. Well, not technically speaking, we've had bloodwing on Ghost Poo before.
Yeah, I've been on a few times.
Yeah, the Haunted Outhouse podcast.
I've always said that I'm this part of the internet's best kept secret because a lot of the bigger names know who I am. It's just the people don't know who I am. And I've made the round. I've been on Ghost Poo several times, been on Lords of the Night, probably more than that. Yeah. I mean, some of the bigger names do know. Barry knows me. I've met Undoom now, and you know.
I miss the old days.
Yeah, it was different back then. I remember when me, you, Monkey, Scribe, Tailed Feature, we were all getting started, you know?
Yeah. I don't miss everything about the old days, but I do miss it.
Yeah, well, I don't miss Apocalypse, but
yeah, I don't miss that. And there's a couple of people from back then that I'm very glad are not here anymore.
Yeah, it has a way, Which before we move on, I see Duck Dog has hit the stream because we have our one dislike. And as a reminder again, folks, 81 people watching, 45 likes. We can do better than that. You guys are the king of the ratios. You have been since day one. I've always said I have the best subscribers on YouTube, and I stand by that. I mean it. Please like and share the stream. Like and share the stream. And if you want to go a little further and can afford to, then you can support me financially by super chats, or there are links to Streamlabs and my Patreon in the description. And some yuckity yuck chucklehead has given me another dislike.
That was probably Demon Lord is a shitbag.
It's all interaction, folks.
I bet Demon Lord likes Coldplay. So that's how much was.
I'm not one of those YouTubers that's going to get my panties all in a bunch if you don't like everything that I do or say or put out. Or it's all interaction, you know. It all counts.
I'll drop a safe on you if you don't like it. A £900 safe.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
What's going on in the news? I have brought up the subreddit.
It's almost all New Zealand. I mean, just everywhere I look, New Zealand. That's the big story.
Yeah, that's going to be focused on at least until halfway through the week, I reckon.
Did you hear, though, however, that Bernie Sanders got 7 stitches in his head?
Did he?
Yeah, it hit his head on the shower door.
Old bastard.
Yeah. This is the guy you want running for president, guys? He can't even get out and in and out of the shower safely.
It's gonna fall over.
Yeah.
He's gonna need a frigging carer.
But to his credit, he went right back on the campaign trail, 7 stitches and all.
Fair play to him, I guess. Got to be a tough old man to be him.
Yep.
Because that man is just a magnet for criticism.
He is. And he asked for a lot of it, but yeah.
Yeah, I know. Let's have a quick goosey gander. Okay, let's have a look. Oh, I can't access it. I imagine my shock. Missouri lawmaker introduces bill that would require AR-15 ownership. And I'll have to give you the link because I can't actually open the link. And it's in the sidebar of the Hangout if you would like it, if you want to read it. Up to you.
All right. Real quick, I have a donation. And if I can get to the right tab and quit confusing myself, there we go. Thank you, Blind Girl Gang, for the donation. The Blind Girl Gang, Blind Girl, Pumpkin Trucker, Peter Allman, Opinionated Gulf City Scotsman, and Brick Gamer Girl salutes our favorite old man, even though you steal Dolly Parton's jokes. Did you like that? Yeah, I did on Twitter, didn't I? You have a place on the blind trucking stream whenever you wish. I'll have to take you up on that sometime. No promises because my schedule's always up in the air.
It's usually after ghost poo, isn't it, guys?
I'll
I
have
guess
to
we'll wait for them.
I will have to take you up on that for sometime. Yeah, they were referencing my Dolly Parton joke that I made. I'm surprised anybody knew who that came from. I've been saying it for years, but made the joke on Twitter. You know what really burns my butt?
What?
A flame about that high.
Oh my God. Old man, don't make me come over there.
You bring it, Brit boy.
I'll take you on, old man.
We kicked your butt once. We can do it again.
I ain't taking on all of you. I'll just take you on. I'll smother you in your sleep, old man. I'll take that cane and beat you with it.
If Mr. Dax groans, hey, if you think my jokes are bad, you should hear Cryptics.
He's the king of the dad jokes at the moment, I'd say.
And he's not even a dad.
No, I know. Where is he anyway?
I don't know.
Is he flying around the US?
He might be. He's been kind of busy lately. I have been talking at him since we play Ark together. I talked to him, and he's been pretty busy. Lately. He was active on Discord a little bit earlier, but I haven't heard since.
Okay, was he sat in your Discord? Was he?
It's the small. I started a really small Discord just for the people that's playing Ark, so we're able to communicate without clogging up Satsu's Discord.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of crosstalk between us about is the server down? What's that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I didn't want it to be. The Discord that you're aware of is a private one, so I didn't want to bring it over there. And
maybe you should make a Redneck Radio Discord.
I might, but you know what? I don't want the responsibility of maintaining it.
That's why Trez exists.
Oh, let's not. And I know Trez listens. Maybe not live, but she does listen. Trez, I didn't say that, sweetheart. I would never take advantage of you that way.
But she likes it.
Yeah, I know she does. She does seem to enjoy it. Cryptic is feeling sick, Viper says. Yeah, he had. I talked to him I think it was last night, and he had the cold or flu going on, and I finally talked him into going to bed. Go take care of yourself, dude.
Well, I know he's a busy guy, and not just that, but he does travel a lot for his job as well. And obviously, it's America. He travels all around the States, doesn't he? So
yeah,
he's
often in my area. He's often in my area, just one state over. Actually, he goes closer to where Sinatra is than me, but yeah, it's the neighboring state.
Yeah.
Yeah. But let's see. Is there anything else in the news?
Well, I just gave you one.
Oh, that's right. You did. See, I'm old and I forget.
Alzheimer's.
It is. Thank you, Barry, for reminding me. Let's open the side chat because I keep it closed on my end just in case I accidentally show my screen. Let's see here. Missouri lawmaker introduces bill that would require AR-15 ownership. Okay. That's different. St. Louis, a bill introduced in Missouri would require residents to own AR-15 guns. Wonder what the thinking of that is. If everybody has one, then everybody's safe. I don't know. Andrew McDaniel, Republican from Deering, introduced House Bill 1108 late last month. The bill would establish the McDaniel Militia Act, which requires every person between 18 and 35 years of age, that's ageist, who can legally possess a firearm to own an AR-15 and authorizes a tax credit for a purchase of an AR-15.
So you get help purchasing it as well?
Huh?
You get help purchasing it as well.
Yeah, you get a tax write-off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. According to the proposed bill, any person who qualifies as a resident on August 28th, 2019, who does not own an AR-15 would have a year to purchase one. In addition, anyone who becomes a state resident after August 28th, 2019 would have no later than a year to purchase an AR-15. The bill was introduced for the first time and read on February 27th. In addition, McDaniel filed a bill that would require every person 21 years of age and older to own a handgun if they are legally able to. That bill, House Bill 1052, was introduced 2 days prior to House Bill 1108. According to the Missouri House of Representatives website, neither bill is currently scheduled for a hearing or a House calendar. You think? And he can't possibly think. I'm sure he doesn't believe these will actually come up for vote. Not sure what he's trying to say here, but real quick, I got a donation while I was talking. Pumpkin Trucker, thank you for the donation. Bloodwing combs his hair with a pork chop.
And then eats it.
Yeah. Not sure what do you think he's trying to get at here?
He's saying you're greasy.
No, not Pumpkin Trucker. I mean the guy in the article.
Oh. Does he not give? Is it not like a reason for it?
And that's the end of the article. That's all it says about it. Is that he proposed these two bills.
So, he works for the people, like the makers of AR, presumably, behind closed doors. What is it? Is it supposed to drive crime down, or
he can't possibly think that they'll actually even come to vote? I mean, it's just they're too outrageous. But so he's got to be making some kind of point, but it doesn't say in the story what kind of point he's trying to make. Maybe it's kind of like the nuclear arms thing was. You know, if everybody has nukes, then everybody will be afraid to pull the trigger.
An armed society is a polite society.
Yeah. I don't know, but that's certainly different.
Maybe crime would go down if maybe burglars and home invaders and just criminals in general would think twice if they knew everybody had an AR-15.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I wish it had explained it a little, but it didn't.
There are other articles. I wonder if it has the reasons for it. Okay, so I can actually see this one.
Viper sword. Yes, I still have a very full head of hair, very thick, full head of hair. I don't have the baldness. Thank you.
Well, it's called the McDaniel Militia Act, so presumably that's so they can create a militia.
I'm really not sure. I'm not sure.
This one doesn't get the reason either.
Thank you, Pumpkin Trucker. I was saying I can quote Dolly Parton, Stallone movies too.
It has the link to the bill, but it won't load for me. Maybe it has the reasoning on that. I'll drop the link. It's in the Hangout if you want to access it. I'll drop it in the chat as well for anybody who's interested. Yeah. Maybe it's for a militia, or maybe to help drive down crime, perhaps, or maybe get people used to guns. For the people who don't, have a positive attitude towards firearms. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know. It just seems odd to force people to. Let me look through this real.
Well, while you do that, I'll read an article. You pop the chat out so I can see it as I go through it. Right, okay. US regulators want public's view on cars with no steering wheel. US regulators will ask the public if robotic cars should be allowed on streets without steering wheels or brake pedals as they try to set the first legal boundaries for their design in the world's second largest vehicle market. The U.S. National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has delayed action for 15 months on General Motors Co.'s request to deploy a limited number of vehicles on U.S. roads without steering wheels or other human controls, such as a brake pedal. In General Motors' petition, NHTSA will, for the first time, compare a vehicle in which all driving decisions are made by a computer versus a human driver. NHTSA called it an important case of first impression, presenting novel and important issue.
Sorry there. Vomit thinks he's going to get me. Thank you, Vomit Sausage. P-flaps. No, I'm not going to read that as written.
And yet you'll say the word faggot. Like,
yep.
You have strange boundaries.
I do, but they're mine. They're mine. And Viper's sword wants on as far as me having a full head of hair, wants pictures, or she doesn't believe it. All right, look, no laughing at the messed up hair because I haven't combed it since my nap.
You put a picture on Twitter the other day. There he is, in all of his glory.
There I am. So yeah, it's all messed up, but it's very full, very thick.
There you go. He's a full bush on his head.
All right. And the hair is quite the mess. I don't bother to comb it much if I'm not going out.
I try combing mine. It doesn't move. Where was I? The decision, that's fine, mate. The decision to move forward comes amid heightened concerns about automated piloting systems in vehicles and aircraft. A fatal 2018 accident involving a self-driving vehicle operated by Uber Technologies Inc. and 2 deadly plane crashes involving highly automated Boeing 737 MAX airliners have put a spotlight on the ability of regulators to assess the safety of advanced systems that substitute machine intelligence for human judgment. NHTSA is also seeking public comment on a separate petition by SoftBank core-backed driverless delivery startup Noro to deploy a limited number of low-speed, highly automated delivery vehicles without human occupants. I'm not sure how I feel about computer-operated vehicles.
Yeah, it's a little scary.
It is a bit
because
scary,
all it takes is one glitch, and you've got a massive accident.
Yeah.
Mr. Dax says, I look like somebody in their 30s. Thank you, but you need glasses. Bansman says, looks good for his age. Thank you. I appreciate that. Although I think you need glasses as well.
W.R. Corsten, I ain't ugly.
Yeah.
My mum told me I'm handsome. Leave me alone.
Faithless says he's grayer than me. Yeah, I don't have much gray. My parents, neither one of them had a lot of gray, or my dad didn't until recently, and he'll be 80 in May. So, yeah, I do have gray. It's just that my camera is so bad that it doesn't show
it. Do I have more gray than you?
Maybe in your hair. Now, in my beard, I have more than you. I have significant stripes of gray at the corners of my chin.
And your pubes.
Probably.
I don't have gray pubes yet. What else do we have? North Carolina County passes symbolic resolution declaring itself a gun sanctuary. Sanctuary? You have more Earl Grey. Okay. North Carolina County passes symbolic resolution declaring itself a gun sanctuary. Thank you for repeating yourself 3 times, Fox. The Cherokee County Board of Commissioners voted 3-2 on March 6th for a symbolic resolution. It says in part that the county will defy efforts by state or federal government to enforce strict gun control laws. Written by County Commissioner Dan Foran, the resolution cites the Second Amendment and the right to keep and bear arms for protection, the Cherokee Scout reported. Commissioner C.B. McKinnon took to Facebook to post a 3-page measure which states that the local government won't fund or implement federal or state laws that inhibit residents' guns rights. So that's a county in North Carolina that I've said, you're not taking our guns.
Well, yeah. Yeah, and being in that area, that's not too surprising. I am pretty well sure there's a whole lot of rednecks in North Carolina.
Yeah. Isn't that where Neebs is from?
Yes, that's where they're at. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew it was one of the Carolinas. I just wasn't sure which one.
Yeah, I get them mixed up sometimes too, but I'm pretty sure it's north.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. Man fakes his own kidnapping to don't play the video when I'm reading ABC News. Man fakes his own kidnapping to avoid paying $50,000 Super Bowl bet. Police.
I read this, I think it was about a week ago, or I seen the title. Yeah.
Yeah, it was on March 1st. The Reddit that I'm using isn't kept as up to date as I'd like, but yeah, that happened. Anything to get out of paying back someone money, right?
Shouldn't have made such a hefty bet, dude.
Yeah.
First rule of gambling: never bet what you don't have.
Yeah. Never bet more than you're prepared to lose. And hello, Vomit Sausage. I hope you're all right, mate.
Mr. Dax says, is it true that a redneck census is to fire a gun at the sky and count the consequent gunshots consecutively? It might be. It might be.
That's it for news from me, really, mate.
Well, we can just talk about whatever. A little bit of a slow news day because everything's dominated by New Zealand.
Yeah, and that stuff's pretty grim. And obviously more information will come out in the coming days, I'm sure. But we had 20 minutes left of the stream left, and
yeah,
I think we should just have a bit of a chin wag, talk to the chat, maybe have a story if you have one.
Yeah, I'll tell the story. I do have one. It's a short one. I'll tell it in a few minutes, but I almost forgot it while you were sitting reading that last story. I'm racking my brain. Okay, what was it I was going to tell? But
what's your plans for the rest of the weekend, mate?
To do as little as possible. Honestly, I don't know. I shouldn't need another nap, as I told you when you first jumped in the hangout. I've had 2 naps today already.
Yeah.
So I better not need another one. But yeah, I don't know. Nothing specific planned. Just hang out and do as little as I can get away with. I'm going to have to tackle these dishes this week because it's a cinch next week after surgery. I'm not going to be able to get them.
Yeah.
Other than that, how about you?
I'll probably at least attempt to make one video tomorrow. Depends on how motivated and the mood that I'm in. If I don't, I guess.
Peter Allman says, have you ever been repeatedly asked the same question over and over again? Dude, I'm the parent of 3 and grandparent of 10. What do you think?
Why?
Yeah, exactly. You get it. Did yeah, Vomit Sausage, you did. I went at 72 minutes. Yeah, Faithless. Why? Boy, the whys. Usually comes somewhere between 2 and 3. You start to get the whys. Why? Why?
Can anybody recommend any movies on Netflix to me?
Haven't watched Netflix in several days, so yeah.
Yes, Viper. Yes. If I'm in the mood, yes, we shall do that tomorrow if you're about, and I am motivated to do it.
The new Aladdin trailer. Is that the one with Will Smith?
Yeah. I did like a kind of like a reaction review response with Dax to the initial trailer, but another one came out which I still haven't watched, which I'm holding back on at the moment.
Bandsman wants to know who the worst NASCAR driver. I can see them in my mind's eye, but I can't remember their name. They were an absolute just disaster on the track. Bandsman. It might come to me before the stream's over, and I'll let you know then. But it's the way my brain works sometimes. It'll be right on the tip of my tongue and just stay there. Oh, hi. All right, Prostate. Good to see you, buddy.
Hello, mate. I've not seen you in a while. Hope you're good. Hope you're having a lovely weekend.
Yeah.
High score girl anime on Netflix. I can't tell if that's the name of it or not, because you didn't use any grammar. It's just, is it high score? Worst NASCAR driver, Michael J. Fox. That's naughty. Well, you have a story?
I have a story. It's just a short one. As you all are aware, I was a teenager in the 70s. And part
The
of that
1870s.
No, the 1970s. Make me older than I am. That's what he said. Shush, well, woman. My wife just told the exact same joke you did. Part of that lifestyle was, as every other young boy in the 70s, I was into fast cars, muscle cars. That was the car of the day. None of these rice burner junk. Good old American metal, good old American iron muscle cars. Anyway, I, like a lot of guys my age, had a fast car. Although mine didn't look like. Mine was what was termed as a sleeper. A sleeper is a car that looks like maybe it's a family car or something like that, but it was all under the hood.
Yeah.
And I had an old 1971 Chevy Biscayne, which was the last year they made the Biscayne, which at that time the Biscayne was the smallest and the cheapest of their full-size cars. The next step down would be a mid-size car. And it was 4 doors. It had primer all over it, and it looked like a family car. And the only clue as to what it might really be was the thrush mufflers that were on it, which were the thing in the day. They were loud glassback mufflers that would rumble as I went down the street.
Yeah. And
it wasn't unusual to get in impromptu races, if you will. You know what I mean? You pull up to the stoplight, another souped up car pulls up to the stoplight. You both start goosing the gas while you're waiting for the light to turn green, right?
Yeah.
You're going to race.
As you've seen in the movies.
Yeah, that happened all the time, and I'd go up to what was called the Strip or go up to Washington Street by the White Castle, and getting some races. And there were times, and I beat a lot of people. In fact, I was pretty much unbeaten. I was taking on Chargers and Super Bs and all kinds of fast cars of the day. And in a quarter mile, I couldn't be beaten. And they would make me pull over into the White Castle or whatever and open the hood so that they can see. But that didn't help them either, because I kept it as stock looking as I could under the hood. What they didn't know, that I had oversized pistons and a 3/4 race cam, which what that translates to that I was pretty quick in a quarter mile, pretty quick on the takeoff. Matter of fact, I couldn't just tromp the gas from a dead stop because it would just sit there and burn the tires nonstop. So I, won a lot of races like that. And I pulled up, I was out driving around, wasn't looking for a race, but as these things are, they often just kind of find you. Pulled up to a stoplight and oh my gosh, I've now lost the name of the chat. Help me out. It was an old Chevy car. It was like half car, half truck. My brains went dead. El Camino. El Camino. And they're pretty fast because, you know, the back half is a truck, so they're light. This El Camino pulled up. He had the big wide tires. He's all jacked up in the back, and you could hear his engine and rumbling, but mine was rumbling too. And he gooses his gas, and I goose my gas, and he gooses his again, and I do mine again. And we're sitting there looking at the light, getting ready to turn red or turn green. And then it turns green, and all I seen was smoke. He's gone. I didn't have a chance. Not a chance. I'm glad we weren't racing for pink slips. As the smoke kind of clears a little bit, I could see him ahead of me, and something gives me the idea that maybe he's done this sort of thing before. Because painted on the back of his hogshead, that's the gearbox on the rear end.
Yeah.
His car was jacked up, so you could see it pretty clearly. Was painted the words "Eat my dust."
Did you get a bit mad?
I was like, I've been had. But it was the only one I lost in that old car. Unfortunately, that old car ended up leaving it in California. So I drove it to Southern California to live there for 6 to 8 months. And then when I went to come home, I couldn't get it started. So I left it in a parking lot and took a plane.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
Wonder how much it'd be worth these
Bansma,
days.
you are absolutely correct. I got beat by another sleeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, he gamed me at my own game.
Maybe he'd heard about you.
It might have, you know, because word gets around. Word gets around. You know, especially if you frequented what we called here the Strip. The Strip is Madison Avenue. There's a strip of Madison Avenue, which is a 4-lane road. It's not a highway, but it's a 4-lane city street. But it's lined on both sides by every fast food joint you can imagine. There's White Castle, there's Steak and Shake, there's Hardee's, there's McDonald's, there's just Taco Bell, there's everything for like a mile there. And to this day, I think every teenager on the weekends hangs out in those parking lots, and all the nice fast cars cruise in and out. It was the thing to cruise all the fast food parking lots, you know. You guys have seen American Graffiti and shows like that. It's just like that.
With all the ladies.
Yeah. When my wife and I first got married, the first apartment that we lived in was right off the Strip. Just right there. And there'd be such crowds of teenagers, they would spill over into our apartment parking lot. And we're talking like almost a block away.
Must have been loud
and crowded. If you wanted to get anywhere in a hurry, do not take Madison Avenue on a Friday or Saturday night.
Because you ain't getting through.
Nope. So yeah, if you've seen that stuff in the movies and never seen it with that, it's true. It's absolutely true. Irate Press, yep, like the Ron Howard movie. Yeah. We did those things. We did. So that's my story, chat. We've got 11 minutes for questions or whatever you want to talk about.
Mr. Duck says, "Eat my dust" is what Bernie Sanders says when he comes.
Yeah. Dante, oh my God, I just saw the most hilarious thing. There is a van outside my place that has Cuck Service Department painted on its side. It's a legit business.
Fantastic. Shall we tell them? Oh, excuse me. Oh, excuse me.
It's coming out the other end. Well, you know that a belch is just a fart that took the elevator, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's because I've got a bottle of Sprite in front of me and it's dead gassy.
Ah.
Yeah.
By the way, I wear glasses, you blind man. Yeah, well, yeah, I don't see so well.
Yeah, my
I can
eyesight's
barely see
awful.
what you guys write in chat because, as you can tell, I'm in a recliner. I have to. I have to keep my feet propped or they swell and really start to hurt. And uh, I have one of those stand-up TV trays that you're supposed to eat on. You know, you place in front of
Mhm.
them that has my laptop on it, and I can see it from here, but it's not exactly clear.
I'm probably gonna end up like you. I'm not careful.
What's that? Bad shape?
Yeah, I should get my blood test results next week, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, well, the thing in my case is I was diagnosed with this condition 10 years ago, but nobody mentioned surgery. In fact, they led
Mm.
to me to believe that there was no surgery to fix it.
Well, there is now.
Yeah.
If there wasn't back then.
Yeah, my vascular surgeon was a little upset when he found out I've known him for 10 years. He just clucked his tongue and shook his head.
So they could have done something a decade ago.
Yeah. He basically said, "So you've been in agony this whole time?" Yeah.
Yeah, imagine my shock. Doctor's not telling you everything that you should know. It happens. It happens.
Bill King says, "Hey, did you know that the Tyrannosaurus Rex and the Gigantosaurus were around the same size? In reality, I had brought it up because I know you like Ark in that game. The Giga is oversized. Yes, the Giga is oversized. Yes, I did. I am aware of that. That they were very similar in size. I have. You may not know. Bear knows it. I have a grandson who I nicknamed Bulldozer because that's the way he goes through life, just full speed ahead, and God help anybody in his way. But he is the biggest dinosaur nut you will ever meet. I mean, a lot of little kids are dinosaur nuts, but this kid takes it to the point that he knows way more about dinosaurs than most adults that I know. In fact, his mom showed him a picture of a dinosaur egg from that she'd taken in a museum, and he just takes one look at it and says, "Oh, well, that's the egg of a blah 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 blah, whatever it was," and he was exactly right.
He's a very smart little man.
Yeah, so he tells me a lot about dinosaurs.
A future paleontologist, right there.
Seamus Derby says had a Chevy Caprice with a 454 with a race cam and a Muncie. Hey, nice.
Thank you, Vomit Sausage, for that. That's very amusing.
Yeah.
What you just sent
By
me
the
in the
way,
end.
by the way, I didn't mention it. The car that I had, the sleeper, had a 350 in it, which is not got a lot of top end, but man, they're quick in a quarter.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jen. Certainly agree with you. And I've got ADHD clinic on Monday.
Oh,
Yeah, I've got
are you
that
going to
as
teach it?
Yeah. I have been getting chest pains though. The last couple of days have been pretty bad. Some of the feelings that I've been getting in bed have been unpleasant as well. I'm hoping that passes.
All these people, since I told my story, that we're getting a lot of comments in chat talking about old muscle cars and so forth, and I miss those days. I miss the days of the muscle car. So my dream car would be a 65 Goat GTO. Have I ever ridden a quad? No, but I have ridden in a. well, I don't know if a quad's exactly what you would call it. It was a little Honda thing, but it's like a go-kart, but it had a roll cage on it. It's a little bigger than a go-kart. Little thing would move. I drove that.
Now we have beta cars.
Yeah, rice burners.
Well, now we have cars that attack black people.
Yeah, and some of those rice burners, don't get me, are pretty quick. I'm not saying that, but they just don't have the feel, the throaty rumble. You all know what I'm talking about. There's just something special about being in the presence of a muscle car, you know.
Yeah, there's two guys. I don't know where they live. They live in my general area. Every so often, they both have like Mustangs, like old school. They're left wheel drive as well, left side drive. Don't know how they managed to drive it on friggin' left hand roads, but okay. But yeah, you can hear it before you see them usually. I'm like, oh, beautiful.
One of these days, I'm going to have to have a car appreciation stream because I'm getting so many comments. I didn't realize many of you were car lovers. Green Badger Outdoors says, nice. Mine is a 69 Goat Judge. Yeah, those are cool too. The Judge. Yeah. Bear's going, I have no idea what you're talking about. This American stuff.
No.
Yeah, Kyler says you got to be able to feel it rumble from a block away. Yeah, if an engine makes my chest rumble, I know it's right. What about a 69 Chevrolet Chevelle SS? Yeah, my dad owned a 70 Chevelle, actually. And so, yeah. Jack Gussie says, oh, yeah, well, I have a Toyota Camry used.
I miss my van.
Miss your van?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to get I was talking to my brother-in-law yesterday. He's going to come over and one day and help me get my truck back on the road. Because, you know, I have a little trouble with that. But he's in no better shape than I. This is going to be like the blind leading the blind out there. He can barely get around either. But somehow between the two of us, we'll get the master cylinder changed on and get my truck back on the road because I do like driving a pickup truck. I like it.
I like driving the van purely because of probably the same reason you like to drive the pickup truck is because you're up high, you're sat, you know, properly. You're not sat as you would be in like a hatchback or something. Would I buy a Ford Mustang? I'm not sure if I could trust myself in something like that, to be honest with you.
All this talk
because I'm a really aggressive driver. I'm a good driver, very good driver, but I'm a little bit too aggressive.
I can be aggressive if somebody cuts me off, or if somebody tailgates me.
Oh yeah,
I will brake like you in a hurry if you're too far up my hind end.
I hate that, man. I find that more annoying than anything else.
Yeah. Like if you don't like it, go around. But get off.
Also, I couldn't where I live, man. You can't have a nice vehicle where I live, mate, because there's just little scummy kids all over the place that scratch your car with their keys and stuff. You know,
we've had cement blocks thrown through our windshield before, right here where we live. So yeah,
yeah. So you know, yeah.
It's in fact, I'm amazed that during the live streams here, it's been quiet because if I'm not live streaming, it's like every other minute some loud car goes by, you know, or some kid on a quad or, you know, on a dirt bike or whatever. And the road's not far from the back of my head. My head's against the outside wall, and we live on a corner, and the side street's probably no more than 15 feet away. So my side yard's pretty small.
What's my favorite American car? I don't know.
Are you even familiar enough with American cars to know?
I wouldn't say I was familiar enough to give my opinion. Only from what I've seen in like the Fast and Furious movies and movies that are like it, really. Like for example, Mustangs, Dodge Chargers, that kind of stuff.
Well, yeah.
But
Which
they are
reminds
gorgeous.
me of another story that I can tell if I remember it for the next time.
Because we have reached the end of today's Redneck Radio.
We have reached the end. That has been our 2 hours, guys.
Oh, there he is. Campbell, you're late.
What's your favorite elephant or horse? Neither. But yeah, that's it for us, guys. We've reached the end of the show. Thank you, chat, as always, for coming out and supporting the stream. Thank you for all the donations. Bear, thank you, as always, for coming out. Anything you want to show?
Yeah, I put out a video on Irate Alex yesterday. It's a nice little fun video where you can do like a personality test along with me. Go give it a watch, guys. It was a lot of fun to make.
Cool. Yeah, go check it out, guys. And as always, get out of my yard.
See you later, guys. Have a great weekend.